Hey there, I'm Dan Phelps, and I'm here to show you some left-of-center approaches to the electric guitar. In this lesson, I'm going to show you a technique that I like to call scale constellations. This is a way of busting out of ruts and old patterns by finding new shapes in the scales that you already know. So when I was growing up, I'm a very visual learner, and I used to like to draw the fretboard a lot in my notebooks. I drew all the time, and one of the things that I would do is draw out my ideas for music and also draw out scales as a way of memorizing and learning these things. And what I discovered is that I could draw a scale, much like this 3-note per string major scale, and connect some of the different notes on the fretboard, kind of like connecting the dots or making a constellation out of stars in the sky. And it would lead me to new sounds and interesting ideas. So one of my favorites is this shape. You could kind of say that it's like an add 9 chord on the bottom 3 strings and a major 6 voicing on the top 3 strings. If you put those together, I guess that's kind of like a 6-9 chord. But it sounds really beautiful. It's got a combination of large interval jumps with kind of a tight interval jump right in the middle. And it sounds sort of unguitaristic. It doesn't sound like just running up and down a scale, which I like. So what I used to do, and frankly still do, is try to find ideas like this and turn them into either a musical piece or a practice idea that I can apply in a variety of different ways, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's say that we're working out of the key of G, because that's in a convenient spot on the fretboard for this. This major shape works for all of the major chords in the key of G, which would be the G chord, the C chord, and the D chord. I also found this shape, which is really nice for the minor chords. So one exercise is to simply practice playing all of these shapes up and down the neck. So that's kind of a basic way of approaching applying these shapes to the fretboard. But I like to make things that tickle my brain a little bit more and challenge me and sound interesting and musical, almost like something that you would incorporate into a song. So I came up with this idea of sort of slingshotting from one shape to the next. We'll use the major shape over G, the minor shape over B, the major shape over D, the minor shape over E, and then all the way an octave up to the major shape over G. But the interesting thing is we'll ascend in one shape and then slide up to the top note of the next shape and then descend, and so on and so forth, kind of leapfrogging from shape to shape. It sounds a little more complicated than it really is. You'll see in just a moment. Check it out. So there's a couple of ideas about how you can generate your own interesting sounding scale shapes and ideas, and then start turning them into musically interesting and technically challenging practices that you can use to expand your ability and just kind of expand your mind around the electric guitar. It'll help you get out of just running up and down scales or playing kind of the typical stuff. I hope that's really helpful and enjoyable to you. You could certainly extrapolate this into hours of practice and ideas. And I don't know, I just think it's fun to draw and think about the guitar in some medium that isn't holding the guitar. Because when we pick up the guitar, it's easy to fall into old patterns and old habits that we just go to. So having some way that you break out of that is really helpful. As always, if you have any questions, you can ask them below or leave me a comment here. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my videos and lessons. Follow me in other places. That's Dan P Music on Instagram. And my website is www.danphelps.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.